So today I'm going to show you how to create a drawing with the shed you have. So you should have a Sheets on your project browser over on the left. I'm going to go ahead and delete my first sheet and create a new one. So if you don't have any sheets started, you're going to say Sheets, right-click, New Sheet. So you have a couple title blocks. Usually we're going to use the size B, 11 by 17. If you don't see B, all you would do to load more would be Load. Scroll down to title blocks, and then here are your A, B, C, D, E title blocks. So you just double click it and then you would see it. So we're going to go ahead and use the B size, hit OK, and this is your drawing. So you can change your name, what you're creating a drawing for. Alright, so once you've created the name, you're all set then to add views to your drawing. Now remember, in Revit, the drawing is really what is the most important, because that is what is used to communicate with the builder, civil engineer, whoever you're working with. So it's really the drawing, that's where they get most of their information from. So to add a floor plan, you'd want a dimensioned floor plan. All you do is go over, click once, and drag. And you can kind of see you get a blue box, it's surrounded. So go ahead and click where you want to place it. And you can see that this black box may show up around it. If that's the case, we want to go in and we want to crop our view. You want to get as close to possible to the actual view to put it on the sheet. So to be able to see the crop box down here at the bottom, has Show Crop Region, the little light bulb, the little pieces of wood, I think. And then a box shows up when you click on that. Click on the box and you can now drag it. You can resize it, move it. So I'm going to get it as close as possible to my dimensions. Alright, so once I have it where I like it, and then we want to make sure we turn that box off, otherwise it'll show up on our drawing. So we just click that same Hide Crop Region now with the light bulb, and there we go. So let's go ahead back to our sheets. Double click on that, and here's our drawing. Now we can see the crop box is really close. Now we have these little viewport lines down here, is what these are called, that designate what view number, and then the actual name, and then the scale. So to move these, click off to the side so nothing's clicked, then you just click on the line, and now that makes just the line active, and we can make it about, you want to make it about the size of your building. And then if it extends too far, click on the drawing it's associated with, the view, and you should get little drag circles and you can drag it in. You want to put those right under, align them if there's more than one. So that's how you add the floor plan. Next we're going to add an elevation. Same way, I'm going to go over, click on East. You at least want to add 2 elevations minimum. Typically you're going to want to put all 4 elevations because you may have different windows, doors, etc. to show. But you always want to put the one that shows your main door and then the wall to the right of your main door. If you aren't sure which elevation, you can just drag one over. It's not the right one, you can delete it. So that's my East. Nope, doesn't show my door. So I'm going to hit delete. So I'm going to go West then. So West has my door on, and my view's already been cropped. But if you get a lot larger like we did with the East, put that one back on here for a minute. You see how long the lines and the crop boxes. Again, we want to go into that view, so into the West elevation, click the light bulb to Show Crop Region, and we want to get it as close as possible. We can also move these elevation level lines, to be closer to. So if you want those kind of to be in, do the same thing. You can also move the names over. They'll usually move in with the crop box, but if you want them a little closer, you can do that. Again, click the crop box off, and we'll go back to that sheet. So now you can see it's been updated. Same thing then, click away. I can move my West marker up, and what's nice is once you start moving it, it'll kind of snap in line. We want to put it in line with the other one. Click on the view. I can then drag the end over so it snaps. So we want these the same size. You want your drawing to look nice and neat. So that's my West view. So then we could add another elevation likewise. If we wanted to add a 3D view, same thing. Click on the 3D view, drag it over, click the space, it usually goes in the upper top corner. Now, the one thing with 3D view is whatever view is showing is what's going to come in there. So if I go to my 3D view page and I have it on one of the faces, go back to my sheets, it shows that. So it changes, it's dynamic, it continues to update. That's kind of the last thing I do with my sheet, is make sure my 3D view is in the correct position. So I usually put it so good isometric view so you can see the front door. If you don't have it, you can rotate it around till you get the nice isometric view that shows the front door, if you remember from Inventor isometric views. So now I'll go back to sheets and it should be in the right position. Looks good. If you need to change the scale, depending on how big your shed, building, whatever you're working on is, you may not be able to fit everything on this size, this B-size drawing. So we can click on a view, and on the left-hand side in our properties, it gives us our view scale. We can make this larger or smaller depending on what size we want it. If I go to 1/8, it's going to make it a little smaller. If I'm trying to fit all 4 elevations, your viewport lines start to change. I try to remember to change my scale as soon as I get in and put a view on, but sometimes I forget and it creates more work. If you can remember that in the beginning, that's a nice thing to add. So that's how you add views to your drawing. Once you've added a floor plan, like if I try to add a second floor plan, it will say you can't use this, you have to duplicate the view. Every view can only be used once. That's kind of a different thing than Inventor. You could put multiple front views or isometrics. Once you've used it, you can't use it again. We could duplicate it, and when we get further down the road in Revit, I'll show you how to duplicate our plans if you need to put multiple things on that show your components. So that is how you set up your drawing.